born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.
What happened? So then I
crazy.
Googled it, and I'm like, holy shit. And at first, because people were saying maybe this was fake, but I watched it a couple times, like, that does not seem like it.
No, it seemed pretty
set
real.
up.
Do you want to save this for everybody or just for YouTube people?
We can just YouTube it up and just
All right.
keep yakking.
Congrats to YouTube
YouTubers.
viewers.
Thanks
Right?
for subscribing. See, it was worth it.
Yep.
What'd you think? So you saw it happen live.
Yeah, I saw it happen.
So
I thought for sure it was. Well, okay, so Haley had it on, and I would just kind of, it was like on my phone. It was like on in the background for me, and I looked up like right as he turned around to walk away. I had like kind of glanced up, and I'm like, that's weird that like something must have happened. They must have like done a funny thing up there. And then all of a sudden the TV like shut off, or like. The sound shut off, and the TV paused for a second. I was like, "Oh, now we're having like TV problem." And I didn't put anything together quite yet. And then all of a sudden, I saw like Will Smith yelling at him.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, now it seems like they're like censoring something here." So
Right.
So that was really confusing because then I kind of watched it again.
Did you end up seeing the audio from like Australia and Japan?
Yeah.
And shit like
so
that?
that made me when I saw that, that's what made me finally think that okay, it's probably real. Because at first, because like we went and like we rewound it and watched it. And I thought for sure it was staged because I was like, "There's no way that kind of like that just doesn't happen." You're like, "There's no way that would happen."
Or he would have got arrested or something.
Right? It's like someone would have stopped him. You would have thought.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So then once I saw like the unedited stuff, then I was like, "Okay, that actually does seem like it's real." So
And he came out and apologized to Chris Rock and stuff. So obviously it was.
Actually, I
don't
think
know.
that was fake. That wasn't a real statement that he put out. I saw that too.
I don't know. I still think it's all fake.
I don't know.
Why?
No
Why
idea.
would they do? I just don't.
Because
Their
we're
ratings
talking
were really
about it
bad.
right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I would have not known that the Oscars happened, but now we do. You wouldn't have known the Oscars happened.
No, I did. I know. I like the Oscars. I like the fashion part of it.
Okay.
So.
But we weren't. I mean.
But
we
so I
wouldn't
knew
be
it was
talking
on,
about
but I wasn't gonna watch
everybody.
Right, we wouldn't be talking about it now.
So
Yeah.
you guys, yeah.
So, and
And
you're
I probably
taking,
wouldn't have
and
went
you're
back
taking,
and looked at the outfits because I didn't watch
you're
it
taking
live,
a one of the arguably the best actors in Will Smith, and obviously Chris Rock isn't like a world-renowned actor, but he didn't really have to do anything other than react to getting hit, you know. So it's like I could see that there's flip the Oscar whatever whoever's in charge of the Oscars, the Academy. I'd like to think the Academy. Is that
I know. Yeah, I think
the
that's
Academy
so,
just probably flipped him some coin and said, "Hey, let's actually get people talking about the Oscars again."
The only because I thought that too, but then Haley also made a really good point too, where like Will Smith has like spent his whole life like trying to like create this like very like I don't know if class would be the right word image of him, but like he was the guy like he wouldn't even swear in his like rap music.
Yeah.
You know, so like he made like a big deal about like never like swearing on TV or never swearing on his music and stuff. So like I don't know that he would have been the person to like I don't know.
I could see him being
to say, I'll go do that.
Right. When they
There's
have 100 other options. Yeah, I don't know.
And my whole thing with like, because he started laughing.
Yeah.
And then he looked at Jada and she was like, pissed. And then all of a sudden he like turned a switch.
Which, if you've listened to any comedians comment on the entire thing, their marriage is pretty.
And I've heard of that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And so for him to be, so I've heard two things that I think are hilarious. Number one was the marriage thing, and he was like, "Oh shit, okay, I'm whipped. I need to
keep her happy and
keep her happy."
yeah.
The second part was that Scientology encourages slapping, and like slapping is a way to save your manhood or do whatever. So you're supposed to slap anyone that disrespects you or your family or anything like that. And if you don't, like the church can you will get slapped over and over and over from other people in the church.
So they're in Scientology?
I didn't know they were
That's what
Scientologists, actually.
You didn't hear any of this?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know Will
that
Smith was a Scientologist.
Me either.
Well, that's the rumor, and that's what's funny. I don't know if any of this is.
Well, who
true,
knows? Yeah, exactly.
But it's so funny to me to just think about.
See, now Scientology is how you're faking it, because now we're talking about Scientology.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and now it's just paid off.
It's crazy
by
though.
Scientology.
I mean,
Yep.
I just
Now we're spreading their
it
their
sucks
word.
because you never know what to believe anymore.
All right. Well, I don't know if Audacity is, so we're gonna have to go through the audio on our camera and get rolling. So, welcome athletes into the gym closet. If this is your first time joining us, we are not an Oscars podcast. We are a life optimization podcast. So we talk about how to live like an athlete, both in the gym, outside of the gym, training like an athlete, and how to be successful in life. And what that means to us is living your life like an athlete. So we cover fitness topics. We cover all sorts of topics that have to do with optimizing your life and being successful. Here, as always,
in the face is not one of them.
Yep, not
No,
slapping
that's
people
not
in the
optimal.
face on a stage is not where we want to go with this. But here, as usual, with Amber,
Sometimes.
2 weeks in a row,
2 weeks in a row.
more than not.
Yep, more than not.
And here,
Like
as always, with
Yeah.
Zach.
always.
Yep.
And I guess I'm always here.
You are, as always, with Tyler.
Right?
Do I have to say that?
Nope.
Is that my role?
I don't think so. I think you're good. And I grabbed the wrong piece of paper, I think. Nope, I didn't. Just the backside. So what do we want to start today? I got the Will Smith thing.
I like that Will Smith was a note on there.
I think that my entire thing is that I don't think too many people want to listen to us talk about Will Smith because everybody has
Talking about
talked
it.
about it
Yeah.
at
It's old news
nauseam.
Yeah.
now. Old news.
And
So, if you do want to hear that,
my
go back,
opinion-
right?
yeah.
Or
Right,
go to the
go back to
YouTube.
the intro.
Yeah.
My opinion of that is that
Let's do
I
this.
don't care
So
about
real
the
or
Oscars.
fake? You think it was
Don't
real
care
or
about-
fake?
I'm 50-50.
Oh, come
gotta
on.
make a decision.
You gotta,
Make a decision finite. I think it was fake.
I think it's real.
I think it was real too,
I'm outnumbered.
but I could see it being. Yeah, I
So
could
you're
see it being
50-50,
fake. But if I had to
you
make a
gotta
decision, I would say real.
I like it.
Yep.
Interesting. So that's not something to model your life around.
Nope.
But I have a bunch of stuff to talk about today with
I'm glad
our
you
word
do.
of the week. You don't?
I
Do we have a
always-
craving this week?
Glad you brought that up.
Should we
I
give
think-
you another segment because craving just is not your.
See,
No,
like
I
the-
need to
is it
get my
like the
shit
craving
together,
is-
guys. I've thought about
is-
it the whole way over here, and I'm like, I
think
really
we're
hope they
lacking.
forget about the craving today. But I know I need to get my shit together. That's what I've realized.
Let's
on
just
the
come
way.
up with one right now.
No, I really like what I was gonna do last week.
What
which
was that?
Like
we
this or
talk
that.
about it?
No, we can't talk about it because we don't want to influence other people's decisions.
Well,
So if we have a this or
what's
that and we pick the this or that, then
See,
someone.
No one's gonna listen
This is
to
why
our
craving's
opinions,
dumb. Then is because we don't have anything to talk about.
Okay.
A segment on a podcast is
But we always
something
talk
to
about it
talk about.
afterwards. So yeah, I said I failed on my part. So we don't have any
okay.
cravings to talk about now.
so we won't ever have any cravings to talk about. Is that
Right.
what you're telling
No,
me?
we're doing a craving right
okay,
now.
let's get to it here.
This
I
second.
screenshotted this last week because
Okay,
I was.
we have to
gonna
start
post it.
somewhere. So we're going to talk about
Right,
it.
so we're starting.
We're going to influence everyone, how they react to it.
And
but
we'll see if it actually
at least
works.
that means we're getting people to react to it, right?
True.
Uh huh. So let me find this. Let's go
All
to our something else here while I find this.
Okay, something else. Mine's going to be long. We're on a limited budget of time today.
Okay.
Because we have an 11 o'clock. Zach, do you have a...
We can do a quick myth. I was gonna.
myth?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a quick
It
one.
was.
I like
Yeah. I'll make it short and sweet here. Myth. Alcohol. How do I say it? I don't know how to word it. People lately have been talking to me a lot about. They're like, "Oh, I chose to drink this alcohol because it's healthier than this alcohol."
Sure.
And that's for the most part not true. So, like
like
the
it.
really
So
common
there is
one.
the good one would be like diet alcohol.
Yes. The really common one that I always hear is everyone's like, "Oh, I went and I did, like a light beer, or like a seltzer because that has less carbs in it than,
Right.
wine or whatever other, alcoholic drink that you have." So, I know we talk about this all the time, and for some reason my nutrition people just aren't listening, apparently. Because you got to track your alcohol. You have to convert your alcohol into carbs or fat, just the way it is, unfortunately. Right. So, the really common thing that will happen is people will come in and they'll show up MyFitnessPal, or the what'll really usually happen is they'll be like, oh yeah, I went and I had 15 beers on Saturday night, and then I look at their Saturday numbers, and they've ate 100 carbs and 30 grams of fat. And I was like, where are the 15 beers at in here?
15 beers means that you ate 200 grams of carbs.
A lot of carbs or fat or whatever it wants to be. So,
so that's the number one thing I think that I like about this is tracking your alcohol.
Yes.
And there's a what's the
WAG.
The
Working
WAG.
Against gravity.
WAG.
WAG.
It's life changing.
It's seriously, it's so handy. And
So
ask any of us. Yeah.
You put in your drink. You put in the amount of drink. So you put in the 15 beers. It tells you how much alcohol is in those beers as calories, and then converts those calories to wherever you want. So if you easily are under carbs that day, you can push them all to carbs. If you are easily under fat that day, you can push them all to fat, or you can go in the middle. It's kind of a dragging strip that you can.
Yeah, it's like a little circle that you can circle, and so you can literally divide it up however you want. So, like for me, most of the time, I'm usually a little bit tighter on fat, and I usually have a little bit more wiggle room for carbs. So like I will usually put my alcohol towards. I usually put my Busch Light. I know for a fact that a Busch Light, even though, and this gets to the point here, even though if I look at my nutrition label on my can of Busch Light, it's going to tell me that it has 4 carbs in it. It also is going to tell me that it has 100 calories in it. So there's 0 fat, there's 0 protein, there's 4 carbs. We all know from listening to the gym closet before that every gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories in it, so that gets you to 16 calories. Where do the other 84 calories come from? It's the alcohol. So alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So this is kind of, to wrap it back to the myth here, the myth of like certain alcoholic drinks being, quote, better for you or better for weight loss than others. And really at the end of the day, it comes down to, first of all, how many of them you're having. So if you're going to have 3 light beers versus you're going to have, and those light beers have 40 grams of alcohol, we'll say.
Sure.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll just go with that. So say you have 40 grams of alcohol in those 3 light beers. Or then say you have 3 mixed drinks with 2 shots apiece in them, and those 2 shots apiece, so 6 total, gets you to 80 grams of alcohol. Well, now you've doubled your alcohol calories.
So that drink's actually worse than the beer.
Right. Exactly.
And so you have to equate apples to apples.
People are like, well, I'm just going to go drink a bunch of Trulies instead of like beer. And I'm like, well, no, that's not how
if you look at a can of seltzer versus a can of beer, because everyone does that too. They're like, well, I had seltzer. Seltzers are way healthier. Well, if you look at the calories, they're both
the same.
They're both
like
100 calories.
Now you get in the IPAs, they're way
Exactly. So that gets into the next thing, like craft beers. They're gonna have more calories. Those calories are coming from more alcohol.
Seltzers are so bad
so
because they go down so good and like you don't get bloated. Whereas like beers, you have like 3 and you're like, all right, I feel kind of bloated. But seltzers, like just
this
like
is
water.
This is the interesting thing is it all comes down to what is the goal of the drinking. If you're going out to get drunk, you're going to get drunk on 8 seltzers or 2 IPAs or so at that
2
point, big double shot drinks.
Right. And so the reason that you're getting drunk off that is because it's the same alcohol amount. So like if drink A has 20 grams of alcohol and drink B has 40 grams of alcohol in it, you're going to be feeling the same essentially
no pressure.
You're going to be feeling the same essentially with 6 of drink A versus 3 of drink B. So like, you might have 6 light beers or 3, dark craft heavy beers. I don't know why you'd ever do that, honestly. And even though you had 6 of one versus 3 of the other, the alcohol content of that is the same. Therefore, the calories from that alcohol is the same.
And I mean, yes, but you can also look into the carbs of that drink too. So if there's one that's 0 carbs and you have to drink 6 of these, and this one you only have to drink 3 of, but there's also 10 grams of carbs in each one. Now you're getting 30 grams of carbs plus all of the alcohol. So there is choices that can be more beneficial and fit better into your macronutrients.
Like wine is a good example because wine tends to have sugar in it, and we know that sugar is carbs.
Or your mixers, like if you drink the vodka with even cranberry juice, people think that's healthy, but I'm like, that has a ton of sugar in it.
Yeah, so all of those additives to that are numbers that you have to calculate, and none of it matters as long as, like, there is no more healthy drink than a not healthy drink as long as they're equated and put into your numbers and you know what you're doing.
And
right?
it reminds me of the carbs. There's no.
Right. There's
It's
no
just like
fat. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And as long as calories are equated and you're using the macronutrients that you're supposed to be at, as long as those are accounted for, you're good.
Right.
There's no good drink. There's no bad drink. There's some that you might own. Like if I was trying to just fit an IPA into my numbers that was 10 grams of carbs versus a light beer that was 2 grams of carbs, that might equal more of the light beers than I am over here. So it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to strictly get a certain feeling of drunk or buzz, then they probably doesn't matter.
Right.
But if your goal is to have a drink in your hand and be social for
Right.
6 hours,
Right.
you're probably better off doing the light beer because then I can have that drink. I'm drinking 6 of them for the price of 3 of them, and I don't know about you guys, I drink everything at the same pace regardless of what it is.
Right.
And so if I'm going to be
me.
out, you slam.
Amber drinks everything at an insane pace.
So like for me,
Doesn't matter what.
if I have a long night or a long event or something, I choose different drinks than if I was going to go out and have 1 or 2 beers with somebody and have a 30-minute conversation.
Right.
If I'm going to be at an event for 4 hours, I'm going to choose something different so that I can always be sipping on a drink because but it's equated, right?
Right,
So,
exactly.
So that's a good myth.
Go
to
hard
bust.
or
The one-
go home.
The one that always cracks me up,
The fact-
there's really 2 things that always crack me up. So first of all, the one that I always hear is vodka soda. Right? Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm going out this weekend, but I'm just going to have vodka sodas.
So I'm good.
So I'm fine. Vodka sodas are healthy. And if you look at it, again, we'll take a shot of vodka and we'll take a Busch Light. Chances are the alcohol, those are pretty close to the same.
Right.
So you're probably looking at 100 calories from those. The beer is just the 100 calories. The vodka soda is going to be the 100 calories from the shot. Plus, let's say you have, a can of pop with it too. Probably looking at 40 carbs right there.
Right.
So, then, you
So
can
then
always go with the
that brings
diet.
up a great
We
point.
better move on.
Yeah, we better.
Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Gonna be so long.
Yes, no, I love it. So,
Okay.
so it's interesting because like what you said. Oh, you want to jump into that?
No, we don't have to.
Yes, we do have to.
Yeah, we
Okay,
do.
okay,
Let's look
okay.
at Food.
So it's going to be a food this or that. I
Sweet,
like these
love
this or
it.
that's. They're kind of fun.
Okay.
Okay, so pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Pasta.
Pizza.
Okay.
Dine in or carry out?
Dine in.
Dine in.
Dine in. All about the experience.
Exactly.
Although Texas Roadhouse the other night, did you
Fire.
come home and eat that?
Yeah.
So freaking good. Do you love that place
Oh,
too?
I do. I love
Holy
Texas
crap.
Roadhouse.
It's
Herb
my
crusted
favorite.
chicken.
Yeah,
Really
I
good.
could eat there. Like if somebody asked me what my favorite restaurant was,
Oh, yeah.
that.
I
Hands
think
down.
that I agree.
Always
and
a good
I
experience.
do think that's one of the best take home.
It is. It's always good when we take it
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
But the experience there it's a good one.
It's a
Right.
good
It's unforgettable
experience.
See, I
Very.
dislike how packed it can get.
True.
So if it's very packed, I'd rather be at home.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just don't like
it's-
crowds.
but
I don't like crowds.
Well, it's
I just don't like the wait.
Yeah, the
That's
wait.
what bothers me is the
You
waiting.
need to call in now. You
Oh, we
can
do.
call
We go
in.
on
Oh,
the
you
app.
do.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
yeah.
an
Okay.
app that you can
Next
use,
one.
yeah. Anyways.
It's not packed. Like you have your own booth, and it's like.
I know you have
6
your own
apart.
booth, but you are also then just in a
Oh,
room
there's
with
those shields.
45
The worst is
people.
when the kids are knocking on that
Oh, gosh,
shit. I'm
yeah.
like, get down.
I don't mind the shields actually now. Not necessarily because for a COVID thing, but it's kind
Yeah.
of nice to feel like you're actually
In
in
a
your
zone-
own
yeah, your
booth
own-
rather than
it does take away
rather than like
the
I can
crowd.
turn around and like there's a person like right
Right
there.
there.
Like,
Yeah. Okay. Ice cream or cake? I know.
Ice cream cake.
No,
Ooh.
you can't just say that.
Yeah, huh? What kind of cake? You did not clarify, so I'm going to take ice cream cake.
Ice cream or cake?
What kind of cake? Ice cream cake.
No.
Ice cream cake is my favorite cake,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
it takes in both, so I'm going to
That's
take
a
ice cream cake.
I'd say
You
You
cake.
influence the decisions that.
That's fine.
I would say cake, but it's
ice cream.
tough.
That's tough. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner. I'm not a huge
Dinner.
breakfast
I'm
fan.
not a
Dinner.
big breakfast fan.
I have the same thing for breakfast.
Yeah. I have a
Waffles or
breakfast shake every day.
pancakes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I used to
Waffles
be
or
waffles.
pancakes?
Like growing up, my mom made the best waffles. My dad made good pancakes, but the waffles would take it
Wade
home.
coming through.
And then, but now I think I would prefer like a birthday cake pancake versus like a waffle.
Holy sh! Okay.
I would also say pancakes with the caveat of like a chocolate chip pancake.
Right, a specialty pancake.
Right. A special
Okay,
pancake,
waffle.
yeah.
Rice or noodles?
Mmm.
These are hard.
Noodles for me.
Yeah, because pasta, you like your pasta.
Yeah.
I'd
Rice,
say
I would
noodles,
say.
probably.
I would say rice.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Ew.
Vegetables or fruit?
Neither.
Veggies.
For me.
I love vegetables.
I think both are disgusting,
I
personally.
have like favorites of both, and I'm really picking on both, so I don't. So for me, it would be like broccoli or what's a
Pineapple.
fruit that or pineapple? Pineapple, yeah. Fruit.
For me, it's like
fruit for me.
potatoes and corn are like the vegetables I'll eat, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
applesauce is my fruit of choice.
So which one would you
So which one do you like?
If I had to pick one, I guess.
Vegetables, then you're a
I
vegetable
don't
guy.
know.
You would
Probably-
rather go without potatoes and
That's
sweet
true,
potatoes
yeah.
than you would applesauce?
I'm actually not a huge. Sweet potatoes are fine. I like regular potatoes better than
Regular
sweet potatoes, actually.
I think
So
you're-
I would say potatoes.
Yep.
You need to get the sweet
Vegetables.
potatoes from Texas.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Salt or pepper?
Mm.
Pepper.
Salt.
Salt.
I'm so I
You
don't do
hate
spice
pepper.
that I
It
like.
sucks.
Pepper is a spice to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, he hates it. If I put a
I'm
little
very,
bit of
very
something, he's like, did you
bland.
put pepper in this? It's like, damn it, yeah. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Savory.
Sweet. That's tough though.
Burgers or tacos?
Ooh boy.
I know. Totally depends on the mood.
I would say tacos.
The
But it's
best. I think there's more versatility in a taco for me, so I'd say tacos.
Really? I would say there's more versatility in a burger, but I would still say tacos.
But he's picky.
That's
But,
fair.
so what kind of burgers? What
Like a
burger
blue
versus?
I'm talking about like
cheeseburger, like-
toppings. You know, like
Right.
like a taco to me, it's like a certain kind of meat and then cheese and sauce.
Right. A certain kind of. This is exactly what I was
That-
saying.
okay,
A
that's
certain
fair.
kind of
You're
meat.
looking at
So
different kind of
I
meat,
can
yeah.
have a taco, and my fish or shrimp taco would be completely different.
That's fair. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Than,
But then I
than
can
our
see
typical
burgers. You can do
taco.
like a blue
Burgers,
cheeseburger.
you
You
can
can do like
do-
a with
Right.
an egg on it or
You
whatever.
can do a
if you think
turkey
about the top.
burger.
But
a
to
pork
me,
burger.
for some reason, I'm so used to turkey burgers that a turkey burger, a normal burger, or a bison burger would all, with like cheese and mushrooms on it, would all be the same. Like general taste to me.
Last
Interesting.
one, spicy or mild?
Spicy.
Give me all
Mild
the heat.
as fuck.
No taste.
No taste.
Okay, so I'm gonna
bland
post
as
this
all
and-
bland can be. All right, so now we need your vote online to
To convince Amber that it's worth doing.
Doing every week. No, I know what
do
is.
it.
Just do it.
All right, so you mentioned today that you kind of have a trend oftentimes that happen, and I think we all kind of figure this out. But it's weird to me that in conversation in a week's time or even a month's time, we tend to have very similar conversations with multiple people.
Totally, yeah.
Right? Which is weird. I don't know if it's like, is this something that is in the media? Is it something that's in the forefront? Is it something new? Is the reason why multiple people are asking the same question at a certain time? Or what might that be, right? So I've had that, and I don't know if I steer the conversation or if the questions are the exact same, but the conversation is very similar, and I had it with five different people now in the last like 6 days, and it was the same theme of the question kind of started as how do you stay consistent? How do you get rid of excuses? How do you just make it a part of your life to stay consistent in the gym? That was the start of this conversation, right? And so at Krave, we train 3 days a week. And in that conversation, there were a lot of people that were like, I get really motivated and I get really pumped up for where I go like 5, 6, 7 times a week. And then that lasts for a month, and then the next month I'm down to like 4, and I know I'm falling off, but then I'm down to 3 or 2, and then I end up not training for a month. Then I get motivated again and I come back. So how do I avoid that? And so my answer to these people was the word of the week today: non-negotiable. So to me, and it took me some time to get into this, but to me it was non-negotiable. There's got to be things in your life that are non-negotiable if you know who you are, right? So if me personally, non-negotiable 3 days a week. that's it. That's going to happen no matter what. Non-negotiable 3 workouts a week. So now if I get a 4th or a 5th, I probably average 5 to 6. If I get those workouts in, if I'm getting 5 workouts, in my mind it's a bonus. I'm like, I had a great week. I had an awesome week because I went above and beyond my non-negotiable and trained 5 times a week, right? Whereas on the other end, those guys that I was talking to this week that start their starting point is 7 or 6 days a week, and then they fall down to 5. They work out 5 days a week, and I work out 5 days a week that same week. What's the difference in our mindset? My mindset is saying
that was a win for you.
I got to win. I did 2 extra, right? For their mindset, it's a failure. I didn't get my 6th or 7th in. I only got 5 in. 5 is a win. If you have a non-negotiable of 3, which is what we do at Krave, that is what you need to do to stay consistent and get the consistent results that you have. And so that's just an example of non-negotiable when it comes to working out, right? The other thing this then tail ended with a couple of these other guys into a conversation about life in general, and so I in the last couple of weeks I have been kind of foggy, not as task oriented, not even able to identify tasks that I should be doing. And so what I've been finding in the last couple of weeks is that there is kind of a foggy, like, outside stress gets to me a little bit more. But what I figured out was I wasn't taking care of my non-negotiables or the little things that you can control. And when you don't take care of the things that you can control, all of the other things that you can't control end up fucking your life in a more dramatic way than they should, right? And so what I've had to do is take inventory of, okay, what am I not doing that I need to be doing? My 3, it's not working out for me. Working out 3 non-negotiable every week, no matter what. I've done that probably since I was 10 years old. So like, that's not something that I feel is even, I mean, it's a non-negotiable in my life, right? I've created that non-negotiable, so nothing happens, right? So I've been hitting my typical workouts. So it wasn't workouts for me. For me, it was little things like something that you brought up that I thought was pointed at me, but and it may still be.
Ooh, let's hear it.
But you brought it out in a post that you posted yesterday, is eating bites of kids' food.
Oh, yes.
and
totally thinking of you.
Candy. Were you really or no?
No.
And that I didn't know, but
Not at all.
I
but you
had
do
this conversation.
but you don't bitch about it. Like,
right.
That's the thing.
But that's in my mind. I'm
right.
bitching about it. I shouldn't be doing this because I have these other goals. I should be eating healthier. I should be getting my greens in, whether that's eating vegetables or getting my
you're so good about maybe you keep it internally, but you never externally say, oh my gosh, like,
right.
I got to do this and I got to do this. And if you did, I'd be like, well, then stop eating their shit. Like,
right.
But you don't. Like, you keep it in, but that might be something that's
But that's been weighing on me,
right,
and
right.
that's been affecting my other things in life, because there's always these external stressors that are going to affect you. But if you have your shit, if your house is put together at home and you have these non-negotiables that you just have always in place, as long as you're doing those little things, the external stuff you can handle, because you're not thinking about the 3 workouts. I'm not thinking about the nutrition and the diet and the health side of that. And so when I let that slip a little bit, where I'm eating Ivy's jelly beans because she's potty training, so she gets a jelly bean when she potties, and I deserve a jelly bean when I potty too.
That is not how it works. I hate when you say that. She'd be like, you eat like 10 of them at a time too. She'd be like, don't eat my jelly beans. He's like, well, I went potty. I'm like, no, this is...
I pee 10 times more than she does. I deserve 10. No, but that's the problem, right? Is it's Easter, jelly beans are out. The jelly beans are around because they're a treat for her.
You guys freaking love sweets so much.
But that's something that I need to make sure that I stay accountable for, and that needs to be a non-negotiable, is where I'm not losing control. I don't mind if I grab 1 serving of that and put it into my fitness pal. That's fine. But where I end up being in a bad spot is when every time I go to the fridge, I'm like, ooh, 2, ooh, 3, ooh, 4. And then it's like, oh, I've probably put down, how many servings did I put down? Probably 3, but I don't know.
Right.
Because it could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 1. I don't know. You know, so that's the thing that I feel like I lose control, and I hate that feeling of not having control, right? In that little tiny thing. And so then so that's part of that conversation is control the things that you can control, have your non-negotiables, and be that person. So the other thing, so then this tail ended off of that conversation to and this was a different person, to where this person was in a relationship that it ended, and they realized that they were going down a path that they weren't super happy with, so they have to reevaluate and turn around and that's the non-negotiables that we talked about. But then the other thing that I heard on a podcast, I think it was, or a call that Rob Bailey did, was imagining the person, and I don't even know if it was him, I can't remember if it was on there, but I did listen to one of his calls, but imagining the person that you want to be, and in my case and in this conversation, imagine the man that you want to be. If you weren't that in that relationship, then it's probably a good thing that relationship ended, right? But if you imagine the person that you want to be, the man or woman that you want to be, that then you can envision that person. You can say what that person is, what that person's like, how that person talks, what that person does on a daily basis. Those are non-negotiables to that person. You need to adapt the same non-negotiables as that person that you want to be. That Tyler 2.0, that Tyler that I want to be. Envision that person, and then you can say, anytime that you do something, you can be like, is that what that person would do? Would that person, does that person not have the self-control to not eat a handful of jelly beans every time they go in the kitchen? No, that person has that self-control because that person's a badass. I want to be that version of myself. I can just make this decision not to do that. Take out the excuses. Take out all of the bullshit that you end up talking to yourself and making it okay for yourself. Make those things that person is and the attributes that person has, and make those your non-negotiables, right? And so now, my non-negotiable is going to be, if I take a jelly bean snack, I'm going to count how many jelly beans I have and track it, right? Because jelly beans aren't the issue. It's the non-controlling part of sweets that would be the issue.
Which is
for
right.
Me.
Which is what a lot of people deal with. Like our chips. Like they can't have a huge bag of chips in the house. And I'm glad I'm not like this. Like I can have a few chips and put the bag away, not even think about it being there again.
Oh, not me.
No, and a lot of people deal with this, and it's real. It's like a real thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So, I mean, you just got to control, retrain your brain and find what works best for you. Like, that's going to work best for you, is knowing. And, once you see that 10 jelly beans has 20 grams of sugar in it, you're going to be like, are carbs? Right. Like, it's eye-opening to be like, that's not good for me and my body and my goals or whatever that is. Yeah. But it's a thing that people struggle with.
And so those are the action steps that I want to make sure that we try to accomplish today, is envision that person, write a paragraph about who that person is, what that person does, and then if you want to emulate that person, which is you, like it's a
ultimately
optimized,
the best version of yourself.
It's an optimized person of you, right? Yeah. And so think about Tyler 2.0 and what he does. And if
Can I write this out for you?
Sure.
Yeah. Amber's version of Tyler 2.0.
Right. That would be an interesting.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I would do that.
I'd be interested to know.
We'll read that on
this. Is not what this. You do something at home, I'll be like,
yep.
So it's not Tyler 2.0.
That guy looks in the dishwasher instead of jelly beans every time he comes in the kitchen.
Oh god!
Right?
That'd be
But so I think the a kind of an important, I think it's still on topic, would be, like you said, figuring out what you want from yourself, and then setting that goal, and then taking the steps to it. Right. So I'm reminded of my baseball coach always told us a really good quote, and it was, "A dream without a goal is just a wish."
Right.
Right. So if you're aspiring to, let's use the gym for an example, right? If you have a certain goal of a certain amount of weight you want to lose, or a certain performance-based goal, if you have that goal and you're not actively making steps or doing the things that you need to do, at the end of the day, for the most part, you know what you need to do.
Right.
Right. If your goal is to, let's say your goal is to come in and lose 20 pounds, you know that nutrition and getting your workouts in are what you have to do. There is no other option, right? So if that's your goal and you're not doing those things, then it's pointless. Why have that goal?
Right.
You're not going to achieve it. Like, this is a very hard truth, I think, for a lot of people, and a lot of people have to accept, is that deep down, you know it has to be done. You're either going to do it or not, right? So, like, that's the stuff that always, like, kind of pisses me off, is when people, like we talked about earlier, people always have this, oh, I'm so out of shape. Oh, I need to lose weight. I need to do whatever.
And here are my excuses why I haven't done it.
But we don't want to do the hard things. Naturally, we don't want to do the hard things first. We don't. We want to resort to excuses and the easy way out, right? It's just.
And I think it's also hard too, because like, for me and for everybody too, like, I'm not perfect at all, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody, having certain goals to have, and then there are times where I'm doing things and times that I'm not doing things towards that. So I think that's always something too that is important to remember, that as I'm sitting here and saying all this stuff, I'm not perfect myself,
right?
But at the end of the day, but I'm also pissed at myself when I take a step back and say, okay, I have this goal and I'm not doing it, so now I need to switch and start doing things.
And I don't feel like you're the type of person that blames it on other people either.
Right.
Like, you take accountability for why you're not where you are. Sometimes
exactly.
I think to put a bow on it, and is those things that you were saying, those steps towards your goal, you have to make those your non-negotiables, right?
And they don't have to be big. You don't have to start out with so if your goal is to
and that's what
get in shape.
That was my goal.
Don't put down that you're going to work out 7 days a week.
Right.
If you're going from 0 to 7, that is so unrealistic.
Right. Like,
put
take a
one
step.
day a week for a month. That's better than 0 forever. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, I would recommend for everyone, and not just Krave athletes, but everyone, have that 3 days a week be non-negotiable. Like, you cannot be too busy to work out 3 times a week. Period.
And
I know people
the
that
mental part
are
of it,
90-hour
the
people
mental
working.
health aspect, when I work out, I am just a better person.
Totally.
Like, it takes, like, after having a kid and getting back into the routine of working out, it's like you love the baby, you want to be at home and snuggle, but it's like, when I went back to the gym, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a different person. I was just getting back into the routine of getting in.
And the thing
but now when I miss my workouts, I'm like, I am just a raging bitch. And I'm like, I need to work out for the mental
The thing
side
with
of
that
it.
too, that I was thinking about too, and again, I don't have kids, so take my opinion with a grain of salt when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it's not just for kids; it's for everybody. It's the exact same concept as, like, there's a lot of research out there that shows that, if you, like, for, like, say, like, you're a corporate employee, if you are allowed to go and work out, and maybe you're only working 7 hours a day instead of 8, but you've used that other hour to go work out, you're going to be a lot more productive in those 7 hours than you would be in 8 hours without being active or working out. The same exact concept with your kids. Like, if you go and work out for an hour, chances are you're going to go home and be a better person, a better parent for your kids. You're going to set a good example for your kids. You're going to, so again, take my opinion with a grain of salt. But
that's exactly true.
It's everybody.
But
even your situation as a husband and a friend and all those things.
A specific example that, and we got to get going here in about 2 minutes, but a specific example that I had in multiple conversations, again, when I had these conversations, was that, and going back to your post as well, the amount of time, like, what I would challenge someone to do that has, I don't have time as an excuse. That's an excuse on a lot of people's belt, right? But if that's an excuse for you, look at your phone and see. Your apps tell you how many hours you're spending on your app, right? So if you spend 1 hour, which is probably low for most people in today's world, if you spend 1 hour on Facebook or Instagram each day, that's 7 hours a week that you are, and extrapolate that to a month and a year, and all you need is 12 hours, and this is in our Krave program, but all you need is 12 hours in a month, and you use to dedicate to working out, right? And you use 7 hours in a week, which is what, 28 hours? You use 28 hours on Facebook. That's an eye-opener and kind of a tool to be like, oh, I am not as busy as I think I am.
Right.
Well, and I think the comment too was like, "Oh, you own a gym, you can work out all the time," and it's like that's not real life.
Right.
Like it's
funny. It's
but
funny because I use that.
I'm like,
I
we're
use
not
that
saying
exact
you
same
have to
excuse.
work out for an
Right.
hour. You can move
Right.
your body
Right.
for 20 minutes 3 times a week, and that's
Yeah.
still better. But if you're okay with where you're at in your life, it doesn't matter.
Right.
No, that doesn't matter. But if you're complaining
There's
about
a
it and you
funny
want to get
point.
healthier, then do small things that add up.
And it was a funny point that I made to someone else too, and I was like, so I own an ice cream shop. Am I eating ice cream 24/7?
You probably would. No, I'm just kidding.
I would.
I would, but that's not the point, though.
But that's not the
Right,
point. Like,
yeah.
are you? No, you're working on the business, right?
Right.
So there's like, you work on your business if you are, I don't know, whatever. If you're,
It's funny because I have to do the team sessions because my workouts suck on their own. Like they just suck,
Yeah.
and I just love the team sessions, obviously. But it's just funny.
That's
It's like I know how to do everything, but I have to do
Right.
the team sessions because working out on my own just
Right.
blows.
so.
But
No, I think that we had an awesome conversation today, and I think that if we can use this week to identify some of your non-negotiables and identify a goal to where your non-negotiables will help that goal, and identify the person you want to be, and do the things that that person will do, I think is kind of the bottom line from all these conversations that I had this week, which is kind of cool. That's all I got for you.
I'm gonna
Anything
post
else?
the craving this week.
Nice.
Sweet.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiables.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. All right. And we are officially out of time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, you're an athlete. Live like it.
An athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.